Hello to you and welcome to Effective Living Series on 97.3 CDFM and ChannelOne Television. My name is Caleb Kuda. Throughout Effective Living Series 2025, our focus has been resetting for success. Each week has had its own theme. This is the very final week, week 4, and then we are looking at resetting our businesses, and our focus is to recalibrate, remodel, and rebuild. So today, my guest is Nelson Amo. He's a business growth consultant. And what is he going to talk about? He will be talking about how to reset and revamp your medium, small scale enterprise. I have lots and lots of friends who are in that space, and I know many of you are excited to tap into all the nuggets and wisdom that Nelson Amo will be sharing with us. In the next couple of minutes, I'll give him some time to give us his presentation. When it's done, we will sit down and ask some of the pressing questions on your mind and hopefully glean some answers from Nelson Amo. Effective Living Series is proudly sponsored by Hallmark Cafe, delight in every sip and bite. And so, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Nelson Amo.
As MSMEs or businesses, there are times you would get caught in what is called the maze of business. You're basically moving in circles. You don't see the end of where you want to get to. And that is very normal. And that also happens because we sometimes in the spate of the busy schedule, we hardly reflect on our journeys, where we began from and where we get into. We also sometimes start a business because it's just a nice thing to do, but we don't have a clear goal in mind in terms of what is the destination of this business. How big do I want to get to, and how much do I want to scale this business? So as we start this new year, it's a great topic to look at. Really, how do you reset and revamp your MSME? The key things we're going to be looking at is really addressing how MSMEs can look at the future of their business and scale up. And to look at resetting or revamping the business, the first thing we want to reflect on is, why do you need to reset or revamp your business? There are times we just do things for the sake of doing them. And so when we start with the why in mind, it helps us really predetermine the kind of things we want to achieve. And so we know if we are achieving or not. If we're not achieving, we know how best to get back on track and to achieve that. So why do you need to reset your business? Let's have the why. And I have this story here, and I like storytelling. It says every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or it will be killed. Same way, a lion wakes up. It knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. Once you're running a business in any place, in any country, it's important to understand the kind of terrain you're operating in and the need to keep moving, either moving faster or maintaining a very steady pace. But ultimately, you need to know what you are chasing or what is chasing you as a business. If you don't know what you are chasing or what is chasing you in terms of the competition and the market dynamics, you wouldn't even understand the need to really reset at any point in time and see where you are and where you want to get to. So to understand the need to reset, you first need to really ask yourself, what are you chasing in terms of the market dynamics that you want to operate in, or what kind of competition is chasing you at any point in time, and which part of that chain do you sit in? And that helps you really understand the need to press reset at any point in time. The next question I'll be addressing, really very simple. What is the starting point of a business reset? Assuming you've run your MSME for about 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you began making revenues, let's say in your first year, about 10,000 cedis for the year, and your second year, you jump up to 20,000 or 50,000 cedis. That could get you a bit content to see there is a bit of growth in there. But I have this story again, still on the lines of storytelling. This is an image from a circus, and you see this is a huge elephant tied to a very small rope, or to a small stump of tree. And the story says that when this elephant was a baby, they tied the legs with this rope to that small stump. And because it was a baby, they didn't have that kind of energy to break the rope. It could have tried in that stages and couldn't do that. Now this elephant grows in that rope, becomes quite a huge elephant that can adjust one stroke of a movement, tear off this rope and the stump. But in the mindset, they are not able to do anything about the rope. So in trying to understand the dynamics of a business reset or an MSME reset, I'm asking what is holding you back from pursuing the kind of height you want to. The first thing I would address is mental mode. So we start the business and we have a mindset. And my mindset says that I want to do well, pay myself some decent salary, maybe buy a small car, get a nice place to live, take care of my family, and I'm done. With that kind of mindset, you become very content with whatever happens once you're able to achieve some of these things. And that doesn't allow you or give you the mental space to pursue greater heights that the business could have actually achieved. Then you also have societal construct. So for example, and if you speak tree, there's an expression called "Ketwe bien." So as a business, you begin to lead. There's a book called "Small is Beautiful" by E.F. Schumacher. So we're doing well at that small stage. One small is beautiful, or "Ketwe bien." So if you make 100,000 cedis a year in profit, you may think it's fine. Or if you make 500,000 cedis, you may think it's fine. But your business might have the potential to hit the millions if you're really ready to hit extra hard. Then you have that growth mindset. We normally, again, still against the background of that Ketwe bien or small is beautiful, we normally don't think of growth. So you see a business that is an MSME or an SME or a startup in 2020, you meet them again in 2025 and they are still that same startup or MSME and nothing has changed. So somebody starts from one shop and for 10 years, they sit in that same shop. So there is no appetite for growth. So if you really want to press the reset button for your MSME, you need to think about how to deconstruct some of these mindsets and mental models that we grew up living in. And also what the society will tell you, for example, just be content, and all kinds of ways that we put some of these things that make us, okay, so I'm content with the little I have, but there could be room in the business space for you to grow that. But because of that mindset, you can move on forward to next level. And the final question we'll be looking at really is how do you punch beyond the survival mode? Again, still along the same mindset of Ketwe bien or what I have is okay. We are not able to think beyond the business surviving. So once the business is making some profits every year, you create a few jobs, we normally become very content. So we don't think of how do I scale up from Accra to Kumasi, Kumasi to Accra? How do I scale up from Ghana to Nigeria, from Nigeria to Lagos, and then to Southern Africa? How do I scale up and sell my product to the European market or to the American market? And that is really punching beyond a survival mode, because if you operate in a very small market, your ability to attract and earn decent revenues and profits is linked invariably to that same market. So to be able to punch above the survival mode, there are a number of things you need to look at. And again, I'll tell a final story. And this is a lion. To one side, there is a field mouse. Another side, you have the antelope. The lion has what it takes to pounce on this field mice or field mouse and eat it. But it turns out that the caloric value that the lion would gain from this mouse is far less than the energy required to chase the field mouse and eat it. So if you are a business and you are chasing field mice for all your period, what happens then is that you can be chasing that, but like the lion, you are going to be dying from just eating field mice. However, if the lion is able to start thinking of chasing antelopes, this antelope has much larger caloric value than the energy required to chase the antelope. So one antelope could actually survive a lion for quite a period. So as businesses, what are we chasing? What are we pursuing? What kind of markets are we all the time pursuing and building on? And that again comes back to the mindset. If you want to punch above the survival mode, you need to think of moving beyond chasing field mice, where you say, okay, I made about 10,000 cities a month and I'm happy about that. I have 400 dedicated customers, when you could have actually made 1 million of that with about 1,000 or 2,000 customers if you're able to really move beyond that immediate survival mode. So as a business, ask yourself every day, did I spend my year chasing field mice? And am I going to spend the new year chasing field mice? Or I'm going to now reset, revamp, and build systems that can help me to chase antelopes? In wrapping up and bringing all three stories together, first of all, again, I was asking a question: how do you reflect? How do you ask the right hard questions? And sometimes be honest with the answers that come in. Don't be ready to make excuses. It's okay. In Ghana, it's very difficult to do business and all of that. It's difficult in every part of the world. But if you can really make room for the sincere answers from the questions that come from your reflection, you can also ask, is my business model working at all? If the business model is not working and it's something you need to actually maybe put aside and pursue new opportunities, don't be afraid to do that. And once you reflect, you think of reset. What kind of mental models, what kind of mindsets do you have that you may need to break off from to be able to pursue newer heights as a business? And again, some of the challenges that we have mentally in our economy would be an early sense of arrival. And sometimes we celebrate mediocrity too early in the day. So somebody does something small and they get all the accolades and all the awards. And once that happens mentally, you basically feel you've arrived. And at a point, you get into what is called a ceiling of complexity, where it's almost assumed that no Ghanaian MSME can go beyond this stage. But if you're able to really think beyond some of these constructs, you might be able to finally punch beyond the survival mode and pursue newer markets, newer strategies, newer customers, newer business models that can help you as a business to move from one point to a significantly higher point than where you started from. So that is basically about resetting and revamping your MSME.
Wow, I love what I just heard. So, two things for me here is the mindset and the reality, the mentality and the reality. So there are those who are very comfortable with small. They're okay. They have a shop, a kiosk. She's a madam. She has 2 apprentices. She's CEO of a beauty salon in Lebanon, in Ashama or Kaswa. So she's a big woman and she doesn't see the need to push. She doesn't see why she should develop more. And there are those two who, are very aggressive. They're full of hunger. They want to punch harder, but the reality in the system is crippling them. Yeah. So Nelson Amo, thank you for your presentation. Right. I have 2 questions that will be the framework for my tete-a-tete with you. Number 1 is how to deal with ketua bien mentality. Yeah. And number 2, how to navigate the conundrum of the difficult business environment we live in and how to maximize and revamp, right? So number 1 is the kakra kind of mentality, you know.
Yes. So before I get that, I'll give a third category of these MSMEs or entrepreneurs. So the very small one, like the madam of the took. And then there's others who are really trying to scale. And then in the middle, you have those who now call themselves serial entrepreneurs. They have started just about 2-3 years or 1 year, but they start with like 5 ideas because they really want to do it big, and they start with A, B, C, D at the same time.
No, it's a Jumura.
That's somebody's title, right?
Apologies.
So they start with idea A, idea B, idea C.
True.
And they all struggle because they scratch thinly.
They spread
and sometimes you scavenge.
Right.
You try to build one. It makes a little money and you put it in one and then this dies. So that's another category of businesses who also fail to. And that's another mindset we need to address because we think that the more businesses you launch, it could be true, but these things are done in stages and in phases. If I say in stage 1 for the next 3 years, I'm going to build this business and the one is really good and stable, I could now move into that and move into that rather than right from the beginning and they put on their LinkedIn titles serial entrepreneur.
Look you.
And none of these businesses are doing well.
Oh, Charlie.
They can't show any profit. And they start also becoming award-winning entrepreneurs.
Then they become talkpreneurs.
And that is killing so a lot of the businesses. So first is that small mindset. How do you support that one business, maybe one restaurant, to think beyond what they are doing, to say, I could actually scale up even where I am.
Right.
If every day people come in by 9 a.m. and my food is finished, can I now increase my capacity to supply more?
Right.
Or can I extend a restaurant? Or can I do deliveries?
Right.
Or can I begin to think of a franchise model and understand how it works, such that you don't get cheated out of your business?
Okay.
And then you have those who are really trying to do well, but there are stumbling blocks really meeting them every step of the way. Again, business growth has to be strategized and planned.
Okay.
If growth is not well planned, you crash on arrival.
Wow.
So for example, if I need money in February and I start looking for the money in January, it is most likely that by February, you won't make that money.
True.
So if I do a forecast that tells me that I need the money in June, what do I need to start doing now?
Right.
That can
to
prepare
help
me
get closer to that target.
So that by May, June, I could be landing the money.
Right.
And again, money has a voice. If I'm talking to a banker or an investor for money, he's asking questions. Can I see what you've done in the past? Can I see some traction? Can I see some financial records?
Right.
A lot of our businesses really don't see the relevance of that. So they think that when it's time to raise money, just find a consultant, put some documents together and go to them. But once you don't have these transactions records in place, you knock on every bank, you knock on any investment fund,
and
they'll turn you down.
Right.
So people are genuinely looking to do things, but the how do I go about? And again, some of this may come at a cost. So to build systems, build a bookkeeping system, it's an investment you need to make.
Right.
But he's thinking, that money can do this for me. And so we keep on doing the same things, expecting to get different results.
Right.
Until you introduce a new element into the business, your passion may get disappointed because nobody wants to listen to you.
So the first thing I'm getting from this is, invest in systems that will hold you down.
You need to build systems.
So that if you are the one who is thinking of, I need to grow, don't just jump. Invest in systems that will help you track your finances, because at the end of the day, if you're looking for any investor, they need to see what you have done so far. Money has a voice, as you put it.
Exactly.
I want to deal really with my friends who have the small... for want of a better kitty. I don't want to use the first one, but the kitty idea. How do we break free from that small mentality?
Kitty, if you had something else, it becomes like...
You see what I'm saying? And you use another animal in a slide, and I'm being very careful here.
And that's talk about animal in a circus. Hello, viewers. It's business time. It's not politics. So again, there is the need for a lot of exposure. And when I say exposure, it doesn't mean you have to buy a ticket to travel sometimes. Sometimes if you are in restaurant business, you need to just read about what is happening in this industry. Okay. What are others doing to scale up? And there, again, this is spread that says, that's
right.
There was an entrepreneur I met in 2016. He came to us for investment and he was talking about trying to build this brand. And then I asked him, who is your competitor? And the guy says, so far, it's only small tabletop. And I'm like, so I just picked, I had a product like that in my fridge. So I picked and I showed it to him.
Yeah.
Do you know this is Ghanaian? This is on the Ghanaian market. And I mentioned the name of the company that was doing, and he had no clue.
Wow.
So if you are on that small scale and you want to scale up, you need to really, first of all, appreciate what is happening in your industry, appreciate the trends, the dynamics, what is the market moving towards. Sometimes the market might be moving from something. So that means if you are moving to that idea, you won't have any market.
You're
going to be crashing because the market is moving from there. If the market is gravitated towards something, how do you get towards that particular angle?
Right.
And how do you create a new market even for yourself? So for example, I have this, and I'm doing my restaurant, again, simple business restaurants. And
you like food,
well, I don't eat that much. From my body control. That's a very simple thing you're saying.
I like food.
You like food, okay. I've heard about that. So you have this small business, tabletop business, which you can just scale from cantonments, let's say, to just also simple market.
Yes.
Or you can start selling. How do I even use digital channels to really reach out to new markets?
Right.
how do I even understand that people who are making shoes, tailored, customized shoes, these are new trends, how they get customers, the kind of people they talk to.
Right.
If I'm just sitting down waiting for people to come find me, it may not happen.
Okay.
So if I know where to find these guys, understand your market again, and again, if you are small, you need, can I grow?
Okay.
If you don't have appetite or question on your mind, nothing would save you from being small.
Appetite is important. If you have an appetite to grow, that will help you. And then also getting to know what your competition is doing, knowing the trends, what new systems, what new tools people are using to produce faster, produce more quality. That will give you the edge to grow and do better. Exactly. I love that. But there is the reality that many MSMEs have to face with respect to supply of raw materials, with respect to access to markets, with respect to capital, and sometimes the very dynamic nature of these modern day customers. You never can seem to please them. How do you deal with the reality part of revamping your MSME? That's my next question for Nelson Amo after this break. Stay with us.
This is your chance to be served by a robot at Accra's premier destination for fine dining, Hallmark Cafe, located in Jowolu, just after the Allied filling station. It's the perfect spot for delectable pastries, desserts, hot and cold beverages, as well as a variety of continental and local dishes to satisfy your cravings. Enjoy convenient staff lunch services, expert kitchen management, and outdoor event hosting. Here, simply press a button and your waitress will be at your table in no time. Visit Hallmark Cafe today and experience the future of fine dining. Call us now at 053-7344-095 to make your reservation. Hallmark Cafe, delight in every sip and
Welcome back to Effective Living Series with me, Caleb Kuda. We are live on 97.3 CDFM and ChannelOne television. My guest today is a business growth consultant, Nelson Amo. We've transitioned from the mentality. We are looking into the reality, what you can do to reset and revamp your MSME so that at the end of this year, when I see you, we can both sing Agbabola. You see what I'm saying? Nelson, so look, my friends who are in the MSME industry, first of all, how key are they? Because I think about them, without MSMEs, we really struggle.
Yeah.
When I look at my frame, I have to get shirts made for me here in Ghana. So I usually wear things made here. Yeah. Maybe my shoes, that's a matter of choice. Yeah. So Noesa shoes, shout outs to them. Yeah, okay. Noesa shoes. But the challenge I see with people who are in the MSME, maybe besides capital, which is the obvious, talent recruitment, retention is one of the key challenges that people who want to grow their businesses kind of face, don't you see?
Right. I agree with you very much on that. And when it comes to the talent, the first thing that you want to look at is that for you, the founder of the business, how well are you preparing yourself? How well are you equipping yourself to lead people? Okay. Because when people come into your hold, you need to give them that, you need to exude confidence and they should be happy working with you. Okay. If they don't see that, and especially people who are now educated, they've seen a few things, they've gone to the university, they've had a little travel here and there. When they come into that space and they don't see confidence in you as a leader, they don't see your ability to lead them and also to show that we are growing this business.
They'll have trust issues.
They'll have trust issues. But and they'll start looking around when to leave at the next opportunity.
In the talent industry specifically, there are those who may have the certificate but very little know-how. They can't cut a thing, but they have this entitlement that I have a degree or a certificate, you have to pay me more. Yes. There are those who are so calm, they don't know anything. You literally polish them and the next moment they are making demands, they want to leave. Yes. How do you manage the talent side of things?
So again, there's attitude of these people. I mean, you bring them to the table, like you said, they're asking for more when they don't even deserve that. You need to have your hiring thesis. Right. As an entrepreneur, you need to have your hiring thesis to say, what kind of people do I want to work with? Okay. how do I find these people? Where do I find? Sometimes, how do I even build these people from the scratch if they have the right attitude? Give them the skills that you need, and then give them what it takes to want to work with you. I mean, let them understand the vision they're working for. If it's just about you and all they see is that everything about the business is just you, just trying to live your vision through them, they start thinking, what is my vision as well? Or where's the next big thing that I can go? So really, as you build vision, you need
let them feel a
part of that. A bit of transparency in how things are going on the business as well. Let's share the wins when we can. Let's celebrate when we can.
Don't alone.
You are making all the money. You keep telling them that I can't pay you.
We are in this together.
We are in this. And end of year, they see how much profits we made. And you don't even think of a little bonus if you can. I think those are the little things that can really keep people happy to stay with you.
We're doing African Free Continental
African Continental Free Trade Agreement area,
and a lot of people are taking advantage of that huge market we have now. But if you speak to many entrepreneurs or people in the MSME space, they tell you that access to market is one of the challenges they have. Tie that to capital. How can entrepreneurs revamp and take advantage of the access to the huge market that we have, taking African continent into consideration?
Again, there is capital looking for money. How do you position yourself? So, for example, I'm telling you I'm going to Nigeria. You're telling an investor you're going to go to Nigeria or you're going to Kenya. And the investor is asking you basic questions. What are the systems you have in there? What kind of outlines? What kind of channels would you want to use? And you have no clue on what it takes. All you need is that, give me the money and I would go and build these channels. And what didn't work? Show your understanding of and again, also even start from how much you've been able to build some gravitas on your Ghanaian market. And that gravitas what is helping you to pursue new market. Don't just say that the market out there is 1 billion across Africa when you don't know what it takes to pursue that kind of market. If you can clearly articulate, and sometimes entrepreneurs are out there looking for my first $500,000 investment, when sometimes what you need to validate your model is a $10,000 or a $20,000 investment. And because you've not done much and you're waiting for that $500,000, it becomes a mirage. You never get that 500,000, but let's start from somewhere.
Always build a track record.
Let's break it down. I just want $20,000 to validate my model. And as I'm waiting for other people's money, this is what I have put in to build some kind of track record or traction for myself.
Nelson, sometimes, I mean, you spend so long a time to build some models, hoping they'll work for you, invest in them. And then suddenly there's a new tool in town that simplifies everything, that disrupts the whole economy. How do you revamp with such a dynamic, workspace today?
So there was a previous concept in business called the build to last. But now we've moved from build to last to build to adapt. You need to have that adaptability mindset as a business to say, I need to know what are the trends in the industry. And maybe in the shoe sector, but what are new trends? It may still be the same shoes, but just new ways of doing some customizations, building for people, bespoke, instead of just producing en masse, assuming people will just come and buy. You need to really have that mindset to say, I need to adapt to new trends. And don't wait for things to happen before you find them out. Entrepreneurs would need to like reading. You need to follow the news. Listen to the business news, see what is happening in other markets, knowing that it can catch up in your market as well. But sometimes our ignorance is what kills us.
That's some hard work, because if you're also focusing on the final output and all the time, you go to work at dawn, you leave at dusk, making time to even read up and all that.
So bury your head and die. That's what it means.
Oh my God.
You will die eventually.
You are not nice. At least be nice about it. Bury your head and die.
I have done this, for many years to know that being nice doesn't build a business. You need to face reality.
This guy.
I'm not a motivational speaker. I tell the truth.
No, they say that you don't need money to start a business.
Okay.
I hear that often.
Continue.
Is that true? Building businesses.
You see, there's a lot of advice out there that is not always true. At sometimes people overstretch some of these things. They say, I had no money at all. Indeed, at a starting point. I
started my rice farm with 1 grain of rice.
That's an answer story. Again, so people, at the very beginning, you need to have a cogent idea, something that you can articulate, it's well thought through.
Right.
But once you want to move beyond the idea, when we say you don't need money, it doesn't mean nothing at all. You might not need $100,000.
Right.
But to leverage that idea to the next stage, and that's where your own investment sometimes comes in.
Right.
In the early stage, you have your personal investments. We have what is called the friends, families, and fools. The fools are what we call the early believers who will just believe you and want to give you something. And again, you need to be able to reciprocate their trust. If you have to pay back, pay back when you have to.
Yeah.
Don't take the money and run away from them.
Right.
I have an instance where an investor was going to invest in a business and he called me to ask me what I think about the guy. I told him point blank that this guy took this money and he never showed accountability. He's not even responsive to emails and to calls. So I can't
he has blocked you.
I can't vouch because they wanted me to vouch for their decision. I said, I can't do that because in my case, he's not proven to show integrity.
Wow.
So the money that you get in the very early stages from people, understand what they want, if they want the money back. If you can't pay, go back and explain to them why you can't.
That's important.
But don't just ignore them and think that you can move on with or without them. So
it's sad. We can talk all day, but you have to catch a flight. So I appreciate you being here. And our time is also up, unfortunately. Where can we find you? Because there is so much we want to learn from you so we can reset and revamp.
My company is called InnoHub.
Okay.
Yes. InnoHub.
You're on Instagram?
Yes, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, on Twitter, Facebook, INNOHUB. The website is innohub.com.gh. Yes, innohub.com.gh.
Nelson Amo, the way you've said it is the part and it's LinkedIn. If we don't end it now, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure having a chat with you. You really inspired us and we're grateful. Thank you for listening and watching this episode of Effective Living Series. I've really enjoyed my time with Nelson Amo. I hope that has been helpful to you to keep watching and listening. My name is Caleb Kuda.